hit the wrong button. Moron. So I don't know if it's kind of hard to see because it's going to get washed out, but there's a little kick out there. So I'm not a welder. I wish I was, otherwise I'd try and do all this stuff myself. But you know what? I can't argue with these results. These guys are awesome. So just changed my axle U-joints today. Kind of hard to see back there, but changed my U-joints. I've got a ZJ tie rod upgrade. Very simple, straightforward swap. It's a direct swap. I don't know if you're able to see those U-joints. They're Spicer 5-760s. New ball joints, Spicer ball joints. I like to use all Dana Spicer stuff. There's a shot of the track bar brace, Rubicon Express track bar brace, drop down bracket. And I actually used little hockey pucks there for my bump stops, and I've got extended bump stops there. So I have drop down brackets for the sway bar, which are okay, but the sway bar end links were hitting the springs, so I had to put the sway bar and drop down brackets. Now they're no longer hitting the 4.5 inch Rubicon Express springs. Got Bilstein shocks. I've got a 1-inch spacer, so I got about 5.5 inches of lift on this thing. I dropped the brake line brackets straight down to the frame. Here's a shot of my hood louvers. So let me pause it. Okay, here's a shot of the hood louvers underneath. All it is just a little bit of angle iron and some stainless steel bolts. I just put the hood louvers on the top and traced right around it, and then I measured 3/8 of an inch towards the center and made another tracing, and I wanted to cut on the inner tracing, not the outer tracing. Otherwise the hood louvers just fall straight through. But it was pretty straightforward. I took off the under hood insulation because it was just making a huge mess and falling off. And you know what, this thing runs nice and cool now. The problem I had is I had water dripping from the hood louver down to my TPS sensor, so I took this rubber boot here from any 5.0 Mustang, the old school 5.0 Mustangs, and that's a distributor cover, so I just cut it to fit, and I wrapped it around here, and then I just zippy tied it here, and it keeps the water from getting on top of my TPS sensor. It was only a couple bucks from the junkyard, so kind of hard to see, but we upgraded to a ZJ fan clutch, new water pump, new thermostat, hoses, just all stock XJ, still running the stock radiator. But you know what, as long as your equipment is in good shape, you're really not going to have too much of a problem overheating. But I would like to maybe get a different radiator, maybe go to a big 2-core radiator or something. So the only other modification is a K&N air filter in there, and that's pretty much it. Everything else is just stock as it came from the factory. Stock exhaust manifold, stock valve cover, stock throttle body, everything else is stock. So it's a 4.5 inch, maybe 5.5 inch lift, Rubicon Express springs. Rubicon Express leaf springs. Sorry for the washout, it's really hard to see right now this time of day. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaf spring pack. I have extended shackles. They're greasable Rubicon Express boomerang shackles. And I had to cut off my tailpipe to clear the shackle, but that's no big deal. Just a cut off wheel and zip, 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 and you're done. I'm still running the stock I'm having a brain fart here, I apologize. Still running the stock bumpers in the back here, the bump stops. So, and then here's another shot of the rock sliders. 33.5 by 1250 tires. I had to trim the fender wells, just the cut and fold method. Real easy to do, real simple. Plenty of room for 35s. Each one of these stickers here is worth 5 horsepower. I've got my high lift jack mounted up on my roof rack here. And the roof rack is actually just bolted on to a couple of Thule crossbars. And the roof rack is not really a roof rack. It's actually 2 hitch carriers bolted together in the middle and then mounted side by side, bolted down with some U-bolts right on top of the roof. And it's damn near the perfect size for what we use it for. Still have the stock crossbars right here for anything that we might want to use it for. Interior is dirty, but it's completely stock. Automatic transmission, 231 transfer case. These are my handy dandy cup holders. Check these out. One of the first modifications that we made was putting on these nice little foldable cup holders. We got them in the fronts and we got them on the back doors as well. 4-door Cherokee. Another cool modification, not really a modification, but something that I made from junkyard parts. Hopefully you guys can see this. Here is my little cargo cover. This is like the second modification we've done to it. We didn't have one of these, so what we did was, let me close this for you. There you go, right there. So I found these that are off of some stock Cherokees. I forgot what years. Usually the early to mid years had these little brackets here. And they just bolt right in there. So keep an eye out for those in the junkyard. And then these here, this comes off. These came out of a junkyard as well. And I just cut the plastic out and then I drilled and mounted those right in there. This actually came off of a Ford Explorer. So this cargo cover came off of a 90s Ford Explorer. I didn't have to modify it at all. And it fit right in these little brackets here. I can't remember if these brackets were Ford Explorer or if they were stock Jeep Cherokee. But it's removable, as you can see. It's rolled up. It's removable Ford Explorer. Here's the ends right here. And they fit perfectly. So now all I have to do, if I can do this one-handed, is just slide this in there. Just like that. And it's spring mounted. Just like that. And it covers everything up absolutely perfectly. I have the stock speaker boxes up on the roof, but they need to be upholstered and wired. My headliner is starting to sag a little bit towards the front there. You could see the bubbling towards the front. But all in all, it's been a pretty good Jeep. It's a 1996 4-liter high output. I don't have a rear gas tank skid yet, but I'm running on a Chrysler 8 1/4 and a U-Haul hitch. And that's pretty much for my walk around. Hopefully once I'm done wrenching on this thing, we can take it out and do a little bit more wheeling. But right now it's a little bit of downtime for it. So thanks for watching. Keep jeeping, guys.